morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Bronx Queens Bros podcast, better known as the BQB podcast. I'm Big B. We got Big D. We also got Jack B. We got Big D struggling with some Wi-Fi issues, so he decided
No, that's not why I'm here. I'm here, Jack, because we're playing Name That Player, and this guy's got like 18 computers. I don't want Google up, so I'm here monitoring it so that you have a fair shot at him.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. We need some fairness in this competition, especially after last time. I gave V that nice little caveat. If he can guess his player in one guess, well, you can take the win. And what does he do? Guesses Curtis Granderson off of his weight and height. But besides that, guys, excited for this episode. Unfortunately, in the Met hat, but we'll get into some nice recaps of the series and coming series, and we have some grades for you guys. Super excited about that, grading Yankees and Mets pitching staffs and defense and offense for the season so far, and then we'll get into our fun game. Can't wait.
Yes, Jack, and before I say who this episode is sponsored by, Jack, you look so good in that Mets hat. I gotta say it every single time.
I'm almost getting used to it at this point, and I think it's a great look.
I mean, he keeps losing, and I'm gonna win again today, and he's gonna have to wear that again next week, and it's gonna look fantastic on him again.
Oh, man.
But you all know that this episode is sponsored by one of the best kept secrets in northern New Jersey, Engineering and Design Concepts, a small company doing big things. They specialize in product development, manufacturing, and test equipment. If you or anyone you know need assistance in that field, they are the company you need to contact. The link to their website will be in the description below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually in a good mood. The Mets swept the Phillies. So we're recording this around 6 p.m. Thursday. The Mets just swept them off in a day game here. Max Scherzer looked fantastic. Carrasco looked fantastic. And Senga was fantastic. And Jack, do you remember last episode? I said Mets were 13-0 in starts where the pitchers go 6 innings and allow quality start.
Yes, sir.
Three quality starts, and the Mets sweep the Phillies. That streak stays intact, and they're actually one shy of a major league record now. Astros did it in 2021, 17 straight. Fun facts out here for you guys. Thanks. But Mark Canha decided to just become Barry Bonds out of nowhere. 2 home runs in 2 games. If he can get going, that'd be really, really good. Marte is making good contact again. His numbers aren't there, but he looks more comfortable. Daniel Vogelbach, not so much. He has been really, really struggling. It's really tough to see. I think I would swing more than he does in his at-bats. He's up there looking to walk. It's like he doesn't even want to hit the ball. And when he does, it's not really great contact. So I think his numbers are really outnumbered in Queens. But that's just my opinion. We'll have to see. Narvaez is coming off the IL very soon. I could see Vogelbach getting traded too. You know, I think a team could pick him up. You know,
Or
for
DFA.
like a small. It could be DFA. He's only making like $1 million this year, so maybe the Mets could try to get him for like a low-level prospect and just ship him out of there. Maybe a DFA him. I think his days are coming to an end soon. But yeah, Lindor had a home run in this series, which was nice. Alonso struggled, which oddly enough, I kind of had a feeling he was gonna.
You called it.
So it's one of those where I was watching him swing in the past couple days, and I think he's about to hit a little slump. But we all know that in probably about a week, he'll snap out of it with like 6 home runs. So that's all right. And yeah, good series. Mets win. They're about to go now face Toronto Blue Jays. Hopefully the coaches stay in their box and there won't be any trouble. And Jack, how about the Yankees?
Yeah, well, the Yanks, we talked about their big win 10-4 on, what was that, Monday. Wow, it seems like so long ago. But they ended up taking 2 out of 3 from Seattle, which I'm very happy about. Pitching was outstanding. Domingo Germán ended up pitching on Tuesday, allowing just 2 runs, I believe, and pitching outstanding. And Aaron Judge, another home run. Anthony Volpe kind of snapped out of a cold streak with a nice 3-run home run. And they smacked around Logan Gilbert, which I was pretty happy about. Yes, and then we have a Clark Schmidt masterclass, which I've been calling for a while, but it seemed to have finally happened when I didn't call it. and he pitched outstanding. Yankees end up losing 1-0 in extras because it was just a pitcher's duel. And yeah, George Kirby on the mound for Seattle, he was dealing, and Clark Schmidt looked great. I have to be honest, I've been hating on this guy a little bit, but it is what it is. The Yankees bullpen continues to dominate. Um, yeah, a little bit upset we couldn't get the sweep, but I'm really encouraged with how our starting pitching has looked because our bullpen's been good all year. Starting pitching seems to be rounding into form. We do get some reinforcements as Donaldson, Stanton, and Tommy Kahnle are headed to Los Angeles to meet up with us when we play the Dodgers. So that's awesome. Sad to see Oswaldo Cabrera. He's going to be sent down, but he's been not great so far this year. So one of the things I was wrong about in the preseason, I thought he would play a lot and do well, kind of strive and succeed in that, mix around role, outfielder, infielder. And he really wasn't the same guy he was last year. So hopefully he can figure things out in the minors. And Peraza has been tearing up the minors too. So interesting to see how the Yankees navigate this roster going forward, especially with, we'll get into it, but Higashioka has been horrendous. And I don't know if you've seen the numbers with Higashioka catching Cole. His ERA is like 9 this season, which is kind of crazy. Higashioka is known as a good defensive catcher, but doesn't necessarily call a great game, I would say, especially compared to Trevino, who's one of the best in baseball. And yeah, going to be super interesting though. Definitely watch out for Yankees roster moves going forward because it seems like there's a few injuries, but it seems like there's a bit of a logjam, a bit of it's going to be interesting because Rortvedt was doing well. It seems like they want him up and probably carry 3 catchers. So I know Greg Allen is on the team right now. Cordero got sent back down. Seems like there's a trade to be had. That's all I'm going to say. Seems like there's a trade to be had. But yeah, can't be too upset.
Yeah, I agree. A series win, can't complain right there.
Both teams, some success. I know we had that last week. Or no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Mets got they got hot and then they cooled down a little bit. But it's nice when both parties are happy,
I would not be here sitting next to this man if they lost another series because I would be terrified for my life. So I only came when I saw that they beat the Phillies today. And we have a lot of positivity going on. But as we mentioned last week, we're about a third of the way through with the season now. I think it's a good time to kind of reflect on what we've seen from our teams to this point. And we're going to do that by grading the positions. So you're each going to grade your team and the opposing team, starting with the manager and then working our way all the way down the lineup. Now, when I give a position or a category of positions, the opposing team are the opposing guys going to go first, give their grade, and then you will respond with your team with a more in-depth analysis. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and start with the manager. We're going to start at the top. And let's go ahead and start with you, Big. We'll start with the Mets. So, Jack, you can give your grading on Buck first.
Sure. Buck, I think I'm going to give him a B-. I don't think he's been terrible, but I think he has made some weird bullpen decisions. And we've said this, V. We don't know how much control the manager has, especially Aaron Boone. But I think Buck definitely has more control than Boone. I think we could both agree on that. So some of the decision with the bullpen I thought were weird, pulling starters early, being super cautious with pitch counts. Not really a fan of that, but I think he's done an overall good job considering the injuries and the struggling offense and then the struggling pitching staff. It's definitely not all on him. So I'm going to go B-.
And Jack, I couldn't agree more as I have him at a B- as well. I agree. The Mets are, I think it's okay to say a little bit of an disappointment so far. I know now the 3 games over 500, but I safely say it's off to a disappointing start. You're kind of hoping to get really hot out of the gate, or at least a better start than what they've had. But I also don't know what kind of pull he's got. I would say his use of the bullpen's been a little weird sometimes, but I gotta say the bullpen has performed pretty well, so I can't hate on it too much. The lineup is where I kind of and like playing Vogelback over Vientos right now. It's all that. Now I don't know if that's Buck's decision, so that's kind of why it wasn't too aggressive by knocking him down more. But also like when Alvarez first came up, it was a straight up split time with Nito, and Nito's batting like solid 98.098. So that's tough to really defend there. Same with Beatty. Beatty was platooning with Escobar at first. Now he's starting all the time. So it's something to look out for, seeing if Vientos is gonna get that starting spot. But I'm gonna agree with you. I won't get too much into the depths of the Mets here. I'm gonna just say it's a B-. I agree.
All right, V, let's keep it rolling. We'll go to the Yankees and your grade on Aaron Boone so far.
So I'm gonna give Aaron Boone a B. I'm gonna give him a slight tick higher than Buck because the Yankees have been winning. And I got to say, the Yankees have had a lot of injuries. Judge went on the IL. Bader went on the IL. Stanton, Donaldson. It's been, there's a lot of players that we haven't, I didn't even know Greg Allen was still in the league. Frenchie Cordero in the beginning parts was hitting some big home runs. People have stepped up. I still don't love a lot of decisions he's making, but I think his use of the bullpen's been pretty good. So I can't hate it too much. So I'm gonna give him a B.
Yeah, V, not too far off from me. I give him a B plus. I thought Boone definitely, for example, last night, I think he said before the game, Rizzo would only play in emergency situations. Then we had bases loaded, 2 outs with a righty on the mound, and he pinch hits Frenchie Cordero instead of Rizzo. Seemed like a great spot for Rizzo to hit, and I think that's kind of indicative of the punching bag he almost turns into because he's so PR friendly and he says, he covers up for the team. He says the right thing, but then he can kind of put his foot in his mouth and it, causes some problems right here. Like if somebody's, has a dead arm or, they're keeping him on the roster, but they're not hurt. He'll say, oh, I didn't, I went to this pitcher in this spot instead of this one, even though it's made sense, clear sense to pitch Marinaccio a few weeks ago. Instead, they put in like Ryan Weber and he ends up getting smacked around. Small stuff like that. I think Boone's probably blown 2 or 3 games this year, which, is not the end of the world for me. So, yeah, I mean, the poster mark for Aaron Boone's going to be the playoffs. It's not going to be the regular season. So I'm not going to overreact with this grade. So B plus for me.
Very good. Let's move right along. We've talked a lot about pitching during this podcast. So let's start with the starting pitching. Let's talk about the Mets staff first. So, Jack, why don't you go ahead and rate the starting pitching for the Mets?
Ooh, starting pitching for the Mets. I'm going to go C minus. And I'm going to go C minus because of expectations. I know they've been better of late, but it's like, man, when you have those expectations before the year, and this is what I said to V before the season, expectations, they can really, really change how things are perceived, especially in the clubhouse. Man, Verlander has been disappointing, I would say, and Scherzer has been disappointing, better of late, but definitely disappointing in the earlier parts of the season. The others have been bad. They've been bad. Maybe outside of our boy Tylor, but he had a bad start last game. So starting pitching hasn't been great. Viton will agree with that at least.
Yeah, I can't. I'm a couple ticks higher, only because of the good performance of Max Scherzer and Carlos Carrasco the last couple weeks. Carrasco last 2 starts, 12 innings, 12 and 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed. Scherzer his last 4 starts is 25 and 2/3 innings pitched with a 1.08 ERA. So he's really stepped it up his last 4 starts. Verlander had that great start against Cleveland. Not so good start against Colorado, but I did say last time I kind of chalked it up to Coors Field. Those 3 are going. Senga looked dominant against Philly. Senga, low-key, very consistent all year. Like, he's been making every start.
Yeah, he had that one bad start, but besides that, he's been great.
Besides that, he's been really, really good. Like, I think at this point in the season, if you told me that was Senga's numbers, like, I would take it. So, But I agree, I'm underwhelmed with Verlander and Scherzer, at least to start. And hopefully Quintana comes back. Peterson was abysmal, and he really knocked the grade down. And Ty Lore's last two starts have been really bad. So I wasn't going to get too. I don't think they're in the B's yet, but if the last week is indicative of what they're about to do, that's going to jump right up to a B, at least in maybe the halfway mark. We'll do another grading soon. Maybe we'll change that number. But for me right now, it's going to stay at a C plus.
Very good, V. Keep it rolling. Let's talk about the Yankees starting pitching staff.
So I also am giving the Yankees a C plus. Garrett Cole has been very, very good. Struggling a tad of late, but he's been very good all year. Besides that, Nestor has an over 5 ERA. Schmidt has an over 5 ERA. I don't even know who. I mean, who am I missing? Severino's come back, and Herman has a.
He's shaky.
You know,
he's either really good or really bad.
So Rodon hasn't pitched. I can't really grade, but So for me, it's been Cole, and then everyone's been, So I'm gonna give him a C plus there.
Yeah, I had a C minus, so we both had the same grade for both teams. So pretty similar there. And I wrote down the same thing for you. Outside of Cole, there's a lot of question marks. Rodon, if he ever comes back, that would be huge for us. We're hoping soon, please. Sevy has looked really good, but he's still a question mark with all his injury history. Nestor's been downright awful, especially at the end of games. Herman, like I said, hit or miss. Clark Schmidt pitched well last game, but he's been a train wreck for most of the season. So a lot of question marks, hoping for improvement, some health. That's really all I got.
All right, well, let's continue talking about pitchers. So we're going to grade the two teams' bullpen. Let's start with the Yankees. So, V, why don't you go ahead and give your bullpen grade for the Yankees first?
This is going to be my first letter above a B. It's going to be an A minus for the Yankees bullpen. They got the best ERA for bullpen in the league. And I listen, numbers are numbers. They might not have the best, prettiest names in the back of that bullpen, but they've been pitching very, very good. They've been getting a lot of quality innings out of their bullpen, even the low-level guys, like the lower situational guys. They've been doing really good. And I got to give them credit where credit's due. They haven't been blowing a lot of games. Get an A minus from me.
Yeah, I went with an A here. 2.9 ERA, best in baseball. V touched on for a bullpen, but no distinct closer. It's kind of a closer by committee, and that kind of scares me. Clay Holmes still has not seemed to go back to his first half of last year's self. And yeah, I think a good team always has a number one closer. You can pencil them in, most good teams at least. Someone that you can rely on at the end of games. I think that would be huge if the Yankees could carve out a role for somebody, because it seems like they really don't trust Clay Holmes. I give a lot of credit to Matt Blake on this front, where V touched on the lower level guys stepping up. Jimmy Cordero's been pretty solid. Even Ryan Weber, who's one of the worst relievers in baseball last couple of years, he looked pretty solid last couple outings for him. Just a lot of replacement level guys have looked good. So I'm very happy with that.
All right, Jack, keep it going. Let's hear your thoughts on the Mets bullpen.
Yeah, Mets bullpen has been pretty good even without Diaz. I'm going to give them a B plus, actually. I think they've been good. Robertson scares me a little bit in the ninth, V. I know you like Robertson. He just had a little rough 2 weeks. But besides that, the Mets bullpen's good. They just got to stay healthy. Rayleigh's awesome. Got to stay healthy. Ottavino's awesome. Got to stay healthy. That's really all it is with the Mets. They just don't have the amount of guys the Yankees do. Mets got a shorter group, but that short group is really, really good.
Yeah, I'm actually with the same grade, specifically because there's 4 guys that I like in this bullpen, and that's it. It's Robertson, who is absolutely nasty, has 10 saves on the year. He's got a 1.48 ERA. Numbers don't lie. And his hard hit percentage, nobody hits him hard. He's not getting squared up. Ottavino still walks a little too many guys, and he's a guy who, come playoff time, will worry me if someone gets on, because he's an easy person to steal off. but I still like him. He's a big strikeout guy. He now has this two-seamer that's disgusting, that's nasty, gets righties looking, gets lefties looking. Raley, since coming off the IL, hasn't allowed a run. And Drew Smith, he's got, around a 3.5 ERA, picked up his second save today. He's looking
talented.
Good. He's very talented. He'll get hurt by the home run ball sometimes, and that's kind of, he'll allow like a 2 or 3 run home run here and there. It's kind of how his ERA inflates, but he's really, really good, and I really like him a lot. I said it from the start of the season. Those 4 guys are dominant, but then you're looking at I love Tommy Hunter, but Tommy Hunter, Steven Nogasek, these guys are they're quadruple A players. They're not there yet. So if Diaz was here, this would probably be an A+. That's what I'd like to say. So.
Very good, very good. All right, let's move away from pitching a little bit. Let's get into some positional players. I feel like we've talked about this position a lot, so let's make this one kind of quick. But we're going to go ahead with catcher. Jack, you already started talking about the Yankees catching situation this episode. So, V, why don't you start by grading the Yankees catchers?
Yankees catchers, I got them at a C+, Jack. They don't got Trevino's not good. Everyone else has been kind of garbage. And I feel they're not getting much offense out of the catchers. So kind of why I left them there.
Yeah, V, we're agreeing on a lot, which I know Dave hates that, but I also have them down.
Why are we doing this? If you guys aren't going to argue, why are we doing this? No, I'm just kidding. You're doing great.
I also have them down as a C+ for the same reasons. No offense. Higgy has been terrible hitting and terrible calling games, especially for Cole, which, there's no reason why you should have a 9 ERA catching Garrett Cole. He's just too good of a pitcher. Trevor's been hurt, but he's good at calling games, but, not a lot of offense. And Rortvedt, though, gives me a lot of promise. If he could come up, he seems like a good hitter. Lefty hitter at Yankee Stadium. I think that could be huge. I don't know. I think he'll be with the team come down the stretch. I think Higgy's going to end up getting cut. The longest tenured Yankee, too, by the way. I think he's going to end up getting cut.
All right, very interesting. Mets potentially rising superstar over there in that catching group. The current member of the Hot Stove. Jack, why don't you grade their catching performance this season?
V, I'm going to go with an A-. And I was diving a little bit deeper into the numbers. And you're right. Based on just production,
whoa,
there's not many guys hitting the ball as hard, exit velocity wise, and framing wise, and just all around as Francisco Alvarez. He's already up there with home runs for catchers. So you cannot argue with the numbers. He's been a revelation. And I know some Mets fans are calling for him to get sent down like a couple weeks ago. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. He should never go down ever again. I don't care about options. That's for the lower level teams. He's going to be really good, V. And I think Tomas Nido or Narvaez, whoever they have, is a solid enough second guy. Narvaez more so than Nido. I think we'd agree. But yeah, defensively as well for Francisco. He's been outstanding.
Wow, you hit it a little higher than I did. I actually gave it a B. And the reason I gave it a B is because he's actually only started about just over 60% of the games at catcher position. Nido, Narvaez, and Sanchez are also in that mix. And because of that, I dropped it down to a B. I'm grading the position as a whole. If I was grading Alvarez as a whole, I would definitely give him an A. But I gave him a B at the position as a whole. But come the end of the year, that grade will probably go up if Alvarez sticks on that spot, stays healthy, and has a great year. So.
Yeah, well, I think this is another thing we're going to have to do another check-in at some point to see how these grades have changed. Let's keep it going. Let's jump into the infield. We're going to specifically talk middle infield first. So why don't we talk about the Mets first? So, Jack, why don't you go ahead and grade them?
Hey, you're not going to be too happy with me on this one. I'm going C+. I really don't care what V has to say. Francisco Lindor has had a disappointing season. He's had a disappointing season. I don't care about any of the RBIs because that seems to be all the Mets fans care about now is RBIs. Man, he's just He's great defensively. I give you that. He's just not the same player he was offensively. I don't care how many ticks he's off of his whatever WRC plus, whatever BS stat you want to bring up. He's not the same player. He's not the same hitter. He's just not a middle of the order guy. Like just by his OPS plus, he's not a middle of the order guy. So yeah. As far as Jeff McNeil, I think he does a lot of good things. I also think, you know, like we've talked about, he's an average guy, right? He's another average guy, and that's not what the Mets need. Still solid, not terrible. He's a solid player, so that's why I went with the grade I did.
Well, I went with a B plus, Jack. Reason why?
He doesn't care what you have to say.
Listen, probably, arguably, the best defensive up to middle guys in the game between the two of them. Just
Okay.
I think that's a hard, at least top three. I don't think you can argue that. I mean, those two guys are money up the middle, and just strictly alone on that, they got to get a good grade. Lindor, I keep saying it, Jack. Wait for the second half. It's the same thing last year. Last year he started off same thing around a 230 average. I know right now it's around the 220-ishes. A good amount of home runs, a lot of RBIs. Second half started batting like 290 instead, so he had the same production. I think Lindor's a second half player. I don't know why. Last year the production started in June. We just hit June. So let's see. And even his first year, his first year was pretty bad overall. I'm not going to argue that at all. But if you take out if you look at from just June on, it was okay. It was like solid. So I look for Lindor to have a much better second half of the season. And I think McNeil is listen, I don't know why Buck has a batting third. Don't like that part. But he is a clutch guy. I also think Lindor will have his clutch moments sometimes. So I am a B plus, just because I just think they're actually guys you want in your lineup that are very good.
All right, V, keep it rolling. Let's talk about the Yankees middle infield.
Yankees middle infield, Jack, I gave them a C plus. Volpe hasn't lived up to the hype yet. He's had some nice moments. And Glaber, after his really, really hot start, has kind of come back down to earth, batting around 270. Still hits his home runs, still drives in his runs. Not great defensively up the middle, as everyone thought. Volpe's made a lot of errors. I think a lot more mental errors. I think he'll get better. Listen, he's a young kid. I'm not expecting him to be the world, but he hasn't lived up to the hypes. So, C plus for me.
Very funny. We swapped for both teams. I have a B plus for the Yankees. So, and I know there's these crazy Yankee fans that want to send Volpe back down or whatever, but I'm just gonna read off some stats that I found on the Twitter. All are correct, by the way. This is real stats. Among qualified shortstops, Anthony Volpe ranks 5th in home runs, 9th in RBIs, 5th in steals, 6th in walk rate, 3rd in hard hit percentage, 7th in average exit velocity, and 5th in barrel percentage. He's been, like V said, he hasn't lived up to the hype, but he's been an average to above average shortstop. And I think that's all you can ask from a 21-year-old. I mean, he's still a kid. He's not a finished product. He should not be sent down. But he belongs on this team. He belongs on this team. And I thought what you said about Glaber, his defense is not great. I'll give you that. His offense, though, has been outstanding, I would say. Outstanding. Compared to last year, he's like a different player. His strikeout to walk ratio has improved immensely. He now has this new two-strike approach where he doesn't stride. He just or he doesn't step. He kind of just does a little stride. Eliminated a lot of strikeouts for him. He's taking more walks. He's leading off a harder place to hit. I think he's doing a great job. So I have a B plus here. Coming from Glaber, a guy that I want to trade it, I think at least he's looked outstanding so far this season.
All right, before we move on to the next one, I just want to ask you guys a question. Let's just hear your answer. We'll save the explanation for time purposes, but I'm going to start with you, Jack. What middle infield group would you rather have on your team, all things considered? Lindor and McNeil, or Volpe and Torres?
I mean, it's got to be the Mets guys for this year. But I'll roll with the Yankees going forward. Volpe's development, I'm rolling with the Yanks. But for this season, I guess I'll take the Mets.
So you're kind of factoring in expectations to your grading as well?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's how I
All right.
contracts, expectations, where they are in their career, all that I'm factoring in.
I assume I already know
Oh,
you.
I'm
Okay.
I'm
All right.
agreeing with Jack here.
All right. Let's move on. So now we'll talk about corner infielders. Let's stick with the Yankees. So V, why don't you go ahead and grade the Yankees first?
Giving the Yankees a B, mainly on the back of Anthony Rizzo. He's been fantastic for them this year. Third base has been kind of a weird spot. Donaldson been injured. You had Cabrera playing there a while. You had LeMahieu there. LeMahieu, I don't know why. I think he's a good player. Just doesn't do it for me though. I don't know why. There's something off. I feel like he's not as clutch anymore. I feel like he's striking out more. This is all eye test. I'm not pulling any stats out of my head.
No, you're right.
So I give him a
Stats will
B.
back you
I
up.
give him a B.
Yeah, I give him B minus on the backs of Anthony Rizzo as well. Rizzo's been great. I just wish he wasn't hurt right now going to the series against the Dodgers. Hopefully he'll be all right to play. DJ, Vitan's right. He's not been good. He's not been good. His OPS plus is below 100. He's a below average hitter. He's not driving in runs. I know without Stanton, he's been hitting fourth a lot, which probably sucks for him. But yeah, he's not the same player, and he's probably not worth his contract at all. And hopefully, when Donaldson comes back, he can provide something. I know Boone said, I've said this, that he wants him to be starting every day at third. Maybe DJ improves in more of that swing around role, a little bit of second, a little bit of first, a little bit of third. Maybe that will help him out, straighten him out. That's all I got.
All right, Jack, go right into the Mets. How we feeling on their corner infielders so far?
Mets corner infield. Brett Beatty's been good. And you know what, V? Friend of the show. His name is escaping me right now.
Eduardo Escobar.
Eduardo Escobar. He's been really good in that supplemental role. Plus Pete Alonso. I'm gonna give the Mets an A minus for their corners.
All
Let me
right.
to be explaining. That's all
Listen,
I got.
I was slightly less generous. I went with the B plus, only because I'm not a big fan of Alonso's average, and besides that, Alonso's been hitting just home runs all the time. It's great, and I think he'd keep it up. I think he has a shot to hit. He's on par to hit 60, but I think 50 is realistic. He's been absolutely mashing the ball. Beatty's looking like a legit thing, and like Escobar in the month of May, batted 392.
Yeah.
We just started June, so we'll see how that goes. It's a good combination they got going on there. For that, I'm giving him a B plus, only because Alonso's defense isn't amazing, but Beatty's defense, I don't know if anyone has seen this kid's arm. He has a cannon at third base, and I didn't know he had that. Impresses me. Giving a B plus. I think that can definitely tick up in the future.
All right, we got one more positional group to really talk about. Let's go ahead and stick with the Mets, and we're going to go to the outfield. So, Jack, why don't you go ahead and grade the Mets outfield thus far?
The Mets outfield. Oof. I'm going to go with so far, and I know it's trending in a better direction. So far, I'm going to go C+. Canna has not been good. I know he's looked better as of late. Same with Marte. He has not been good. Better of late. Nimmo is their one shining star out there in the outfield. He looks great. I hope Vientos gets some more shots, either DHing or he could play corner outfield, right, V? I'm pretty sure.
He played left field in the minors.
Yeah, I don't know. Nimmo, and I know I made fun of the contract a little bit. He seems to be worth all the money. And yeah, he's a great player, great on defense, great on offense. So I'm going C plus just because the corners have been really weak. But if they play up to their potential, definitely can improve.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, Jack. You already nailed everything. I have a C plus here as well. Nothing more I could add to it. So,
All right, well, why don't you go ahead and get right into the Yankees and finish out our grading system here?
Jack, give the Yankees an A minus. I don't have to really speak about the MVP. We already know what he does. Bader. It'd probably be higher if Stanton and Bader could stay healthy. But that's all I got to say. I'll let you do all the explaining.
Yeah, I got them at a B, and it's because it's turned into judge or bust for me, at least. I know Bader is great when he plays. And it's been a true throughout his career. He can't stay on the field, and we already knew that about Stanton, so that's nothing new. But for a majority of the season, it's just been Judge, combination of IKF, who's been all right in the outfield, maybe like a Greg Allen as of late, or like Willie Calhoun. So it's not like anything outstanding. So I don't know. Judge or bust for me is what I wrote down. I'm gonna stick with the B.
Very good. So hey, that's a great summary of all the positions for the first third of the season. I think we'll revisit this maybe All-Star break time and see how things have changed. But let's go ahead and get into a fun episode for Big D's Big Odds. It's my time to shine now. I had to listen to you guys for 30 minutes. So it's my time to shine. All right, last episode, V nailed all my lines. Got all 5 of them. Jack, you came away with 2, so you got to step up unless you want to keep wearing that hat. So we're going to go ahead and start with a Mets line to get you out in front first, Jack. As of late, the past 7 days, Francisco Lindor has been hitting 192. So I'm going to go ahead and set an over-under line on hits for this upcoming series. They got a 3-game stint against the Blue Jays, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. I'm going to set an over-under line in Toronto.
No, at home.
At home. Over-under Lindor hits 2.5.
Oh man, 2.5. I was gonna say if it's 3.5, I'm taking the under right away. But it's 2.5, Dave.
I set good lines. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
What can I say? I've been doing this for a while now.
I'm gonna go begrudgingly. I'm gonna go over.
Wow. Okay. V.
I agree with this fine-looking gentleman in the Mets hat.
All right, we're both taking the over on Lindor hits. Let's go to the Yankees. Jack mentioned how Giancarlo and others are traveling with the team. What are we thinking, Jack? He's going to play a little bit or what?
I hope so.
I'm going to just throw an easy line out there. We talked about how he loves to play in LA. Stanton home runs over under 0.5 this upcoming series.
Oh, boy. You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's hit the over. Stan, get a hold of one.
Dave, I'm going to rock with the over too. It seems like the situation is prime for Stanton to hit a home run like a mammoth shot and then go 0 for his next 30. That's probably what's going to happen. So I'm going to hope that he gets like a hanging slider, puts it in like the 17th row, and then probably goes over 30 in the next 30 at-bats.
All right, well, at least he can get you both that one home run. All right, next up for the Mets, Kodai Senga coming off a great start. He's currently given up 0.78 hits per inning pitched. It looks like he's going to get the 3rd start against the Blue Jays. So I'm going to do an over-under on hits given up in his upcoming start at 5.5.
Ooh, 5.5 for Senga against the Blue Jays. Blue Jays got that really good lineup. He's kind of similar to Kevin Gausman in style, V. So I'm thinking maybe the Blue Jays have faced Gausman a little bit. They know him from the spring training live BP. So I'm going to go over on that, 5.5.
I'm thinking Senga builds off his last start and has another dominant outing. So I'm going to take the under.
We're good. All right. The Yankees, they got a 3-game series coming up against the Dodgers. A lot of people excited about this one. Looks like we got Severino, Cole, and Urman up to pitch for us. Severino is averaging about 0.9 Ks per inning pitched. Cole's 1.08. Urman is 0.98. So all essentially about 1. So I'm going to set an over-under on combined strikeouts for the 3 starters at 18.5.
I will take the under.
I'm going over. Dodgers have been striking out a lot. I know they've looked better, but they've been striking out a lot. I'm going over.
All right, now for the 5th line, we have a combined effort. This one, I'm not sure if this is a sharp line or not. I'm throwing it out there. It's either choose the Mets or the Yankees. We're going to go with who will have the most total home run distance in feet measured throughout their series. All right. I'm going to give the Mets 150 feet of a cushion. So you can either choose, because I think the Yankees are getting some sluggers back. You can either choose the Yankees or the Mets plus 150 feet.
I'm taking my Yanks.
Very good. V, any shockers you have for us here?
Yeah, I'm taking the Mets.
So no shockers.
The Mets have hit a home run in 15 straight games, so let's make that 18.
All right, very good. We have some disagreements. This week can really start to shake up, especially because we have our second edition of Name That Player. Let's reintroduce the rules. Again, fellas, you have 5 hints to guess the player. Each hint deducts 1 point that you get if you get the player right. However, you only get 1 guess. If you guess incorrectly, the other person gets to hear the remaining hints, and if they guess correctly at that point, they get 2 points. All right? So the maximum potential is 5. A steal is worth 2. And I think I made it easier this time. I think I made the steals in the last hint really easy. So keep that in mind when you're guessing. You really want to make sure you know the person. All right? And again, I'm next to V because I saw his search history and he was Googling Curtis Granderson's body. It was really interesting. So I'm going to make sure he's got nothing sketchy going on his laptops here.
Told you guys, my mom looked it up. Come on now.
All right, V, I'm actually going to go to you. Your first Met and your very first hint is that his first year on the Mets was in 2005.
I would like another guess, please.
Another guess. So he was an all-star for the Mets in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2009, and 2011. If you guess here, you would get 4 points.
2011 was his last year as an All-Star.
On the Mets.
Carlos Beltran, final answer.
You, sir, just awarded yourself 4 points. Very good. My last hint was he won the 1999 AL Rookie of the Year. He's Puerto Rican, and he finished with 435 career home runs. All right, Jack, your first Yankee. Your first hint is that he was born in the year 1946.
All right, I'll take another, Dave.
You laugh, but that gives you some timing clues. All right.
Very true.
Your next hint for 4 points is that he won the 1973 American League MVP.
All right, Dave. I'll take another if you don't mind.
All right, for 3 points, he was the American League Silver Slugger Award winner in 1980 and 1982.
1980. In 1982, Silver Slugger, but won MVP nearly 8 years before. Wow, what a question. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go for another clue.
I don't mind at all, Jack. For 2 points, your next clue, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1993.
Okay.
Now, it is a strategy if you're unsure to prevent V from getting a steal. Like I said, my last clue pretty much gives these players away. I would hope. So, just throwing that out there.
All right, I'm going to think for a little bit. 1973 MVP. So we're thinking probably with a different team, or Dave would have said with the Yankees. Silver Slugger. So one more clue. The next clue is the giveaway clue?
I would hope so.
Oh, no. So then it runs the embarrassment of if I get the giveaway clue wrong, then it's even worse.
Yeah, you pretty much lose the game, I would say, yeah. You pretty much wear a Mets hat because you're a Mets fan if you can't get some.
Man. All right, I'm going to guess from here then.
But Jack, I have full confidence that you would get the giveaway clue.
Do you?
Yes.
All right, what's the clue?
All right. He famously hit 3 home runs in a Game 6 World
Reggie
Series.
Jackson.
Okay, there we
Damn
go.
it. I should have known that.
So, Jack, you got 1 point there, but you prevented Big V from getting 2, so
True.
that is a win.
True. 1973 AL MVP with the Oakland Athletics.
There we go.
Damn.
All right. Next player. V, your first hint. He spent 3 years of his career on the Mets.
Yeah, let's get another clue.
Let's get another clue. All right. For 4 points, he finished 3rd in Cy Young voting and 14th in MVP voting in his first year with the Mets.
Let's take another clue.
All right, for 3 points, he led the league with a 2.61 ERA in 2004, a 2.77 ERA in 2006, and a 2.53 ERA in 2008.
Lily and ERA. A couple of years, played 3 years on the Mets. Let's take another clue.
All right, I actually didn't know this was a thing, so I hope I'm not wrong here, but I saw it on Baseball Reference. He won the AL Triple Crown for pitchers in 2006. Did you guys know there was a Triple Crown for pitchers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just an idiot. All right, cool.
Who's that? Jack's smiling. He knows. 2006 American League. Well, let's just take another guess. Let's get it.
All right, for 1 point, he threw the first no-hitter in Mets history.
Oh, you're on Santana.
You just posted a video
It's
about
his
it.
anniversary of his no-hitter. Wait, he only spent 3 years on the Mets?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
And he was hurt for like 2 years.
I thought he pitched like 4 or 5 years. Shit. Okay.
All right, moving right along. Jack, your next Yankee, has recorded 236 career wins as a Yankee.
236 wins as a Yank. All right, take another, Dave.
All right, for 4 points, he led the AL with 18 complete games in 1955.
Son of a bitch.
The Yankees have so much history to choose from, Jack. I go way back for you sometimes.
I'll go for another.
All right, for 3 points, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1974.
That's doing me no favors, Dave. All right, I'm going to roll with a guess here. Whitey Ford, final answer.
You, sir, awarded yourself 3 points. So it is currently 5-4. V is leading after 2. We got 3 more players left for each team.
I had Whitey Ford in my head there too, so you're lucky you got it.
All right, V, your next Met. This Met has had a season in which he led the majors in batting average.
Jose Reyes, final answer.
For 5 points, you, sir, are incorrect.
Damn it!
All right, so Jack, you get to hear the remaining 4 hints.
Can I get the first one again? I missed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you get to hear all of them because V got them wrong. So he had a season in which he led the majors in batting average. He has made 2 All-Star teams.
Okay.
He was drafted by the Mets in the 12th round. He has played 5 different positions for the Mets. And he was a member of the most recent Team America in World Baseball.
Jeff McNeil, final answer.
So, Jack, you just awarded yourself 2 points because
Come on, V.
V was greedy as hell.
Listen, there was 2 answers. It was Reyes or McNeil. I'm like, I don't think he's going to pick a current player.
I told you. I was going to throw a current one in this episode.
Damn it.
5-5?
No, you're up 6-5.
6-5.
Oh, look at that.
Son of a bitches.
All right, so Jack, you have another Yankee coming up. Your first hint for your next player is that his first year on the Yankees was 2008.
Okay. Like that one. I'll take another.
All right. He led the AL in stolen bases one time during his career.
Oh my goodness. 2008. Oh my days. Stolen bases. God. Brett Gardner, final answer.
You, sir, just awarded yourself 4 points. Well
Come
done.
on, V. Come on, V.
What a big mistake I made.
10-5?
10 to 5.
10 to 5. Flip the scoreboard.
How many more we got?
2 more players each. All right. V, your next Met. He played 4 seasons of his 18-year career on the Mets.
Next one.
You want another hint?
Yeah.
All right. His first year on the Mets came when he was 33 years old.
Next question.
All right, for 3 points, he has won 1 National League Cy Young and 2 AL Cy Youngs.
I'm going to have to take another guess.
All right, he led the league, the majors, in ERA in 1997, 1999, 2000, 2002, and 2003.
Another guess, please.
All right, your last and final guess, our hint for 1 point. He is the Yankees' daddy. Wait, what? How do you not know?
Yankees daddy. Jack, do you know this?
You want me to give you a bonus hint? Because that's actually not the hint I wrote down.
Yeah.
All right. Jack, do you allow that? Because he's not a Yankees fan.
Yeah, I think what you meant is the other way around. He's the Yankee, or no, the Yankees are his dad.
No. I'll explain.
Yes?
I'll explain, but I don't think so.
Am I thinking of the wrong player?
Maybe. All right. The last bonus hint. In 1988, he was signed by the Dodgers as an amateur free agent, but he didn't make his first appearance in the MLBs until 1992 at the age of 20.
I have zero clue.
It doesn't hurt to guess at this point.
Yankees daddy. Oh boy. I got no guess. Just go.
Jack?
Okay, Pedro Martinez, final answer.
Jack, you are correct, and he famously asked the Yankees, "Who's your daddy?" indicating that he is the daddy of the Yankees.
Yeah, but then the Yankee fans were cheering.
Yes.
Who's your?
Yeah, because the Yankees then started dominating him. But yeah. All right,
V,
I'm embarrassed.
Mets legend Pedro Martinez.
I thought he was older when he came to the Mets.
33 is pretty old.
No, I thought like 36. Like I thought he was like Scherzer's age.
That was when he was on the Phillies.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees beat him again in the World Series.
Yep. All right, so Jack is running away with it a little
Pretty
bit.
much
12-5. Not necessarily. You might be able to get a steal here and there. Or a lucky deal. All right, Jack, your next Yankee. He made the All-Star team in his first 2 years with the Yanks.
Okay, I'll take another.
I'll allow it. He finished third in Rookie of the Year voting.
Okay, I'll take another.
For 3 points, he was signed by the Chicago Cubs as an amateur free agent in 2013.
Gleyber Torres, final answer.
You, sir, just got 3 points. It's getting ugly out here.
Bye-bye.
I lost track. What
15
do you got?
to 5.
Yep. All right, V, your last Met. I guess you pretty much have to guess after the first hint, and it's not his bodily measurements, unfortunately. All right, this Met has 1,000 career RBIs on the dot. This is the same crap he did last time, and then he just threw out Curtis Grandis. It's like, did you actually like calculate that?
Where are those eyes looking, Dave?
Not at bodies of Mets players.
I'm looking at curtains right now.
Yeah, he's off in the distance. I don't know where he's at. But we could be a Blue Jays broadcast crew and really make a big deal about it.
I'm going to go Jose Reyes.
You, sir, would be incorrect. Jack, if you want to just really blow him out of the water, he went to Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, okay.
The Mets drafted him in the first round of the 1980 June Amateur Draft. Okay. He won the 1986 Home Run Derby, and he finished.
Darryl Strawberry, final answer.
Correct. You got it.
You know what's funny? He was on my brain. He was in, I had 3 names in my head.
Yeah.
I just went back to Reyes.
Yeah. All right, Jack, for just some extra fun, and because I put a lot of hard work into this, we're going to do the last player. Your last Yankee played 11 years, all on the Yankees.
11 years. All right, I'll take another.
He is from Akron, Ohio.
Oof. 11 years on the Yanks from Akron, Ohio. I'll take another.
He was the 4th overall pick in the 1968 amateur draft.
Okay, 1968. So probably. Thurman Munson, final answer?
You got it, Jack, for 3 points. Thurman Munson. Jack, I didn't know this until doing some research. My 4th hint was that he is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, not.
Pretty crazy.
But retired.
Yeah.
Jersey retired by the Yanks.
Yeah. A legend in my eyes and many Yankees fans' eyes. Jack, well done. You made my lines irrelevant, and you kind of wiped out his whole sweep of the lines last episode. So good for you. Fellas, as always, great episode. Looks like V's going to be in a Yankees hat sometime next week, so stay tuned for that. But V, let's gather ourselves back. You got to tell the fans where they can listen to us and where they can find us on Instagram.
They can find us on Instagram at BQB Podcast. You may see a video of me crying in a Yankees hat soon, so you might want to tune in.
You did see a video of Johan Santana on there, and that didn't help Big V out too much. But Jack, where can they find us on TikTok?
BQB Podcast on the top.
And you can find us on Twitter at the same handle, at BQB Podcast. Listen to us, smile a little bit, wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, iHeartRadio. We're not on Google. We are not on Google. iHeartRadio, Amazon, all that. If you like us, tell your brother or your sister. Hopefully you have one. If not, tell your mom and dad again. That'll be great. Tell them to have a brother or a sister, so that way you can tell them. All right? As always, great episode, guys. He looks like he's mad. I'm going to go. We'll see you guys next time.